Hello and welcome to Miniatures Rundown. I'm Mitchell.
I'm Joshua.
And today we have some changes for 40K. Something that I didn't talk about is I didn't think we were getting one of these till September.
So they said in early autumn we'd be getting a balance update.
Right.
This is an errata update.
It is an errata update.
But does have a couple balance updates hidden in here.
Yeah, they're like, this is totally what we meant the first time, guys.
Yeah, there's one or two of those where it's like, no, you wrote that in there and you meant it. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, you changed some stuff. We'll talk about it.
First up is the Barbgaunts from the Tyranids.
Yep. They have the ability of what people like to call disruption.
It's called disruption on their card.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, nice. I thought it was just like
It's
colloquial
a
term. If you're a disrupted unit, you get -2 to movement, advance, and charge rolls. And it is if you get hit with a ranged attack by a disruption unit.
Yep.
This is one of the only units, first of all, that had multiple models in the unit in order to split fire.
Yes.
And second of all, didn't say choose a unit that was hit by this weapon.
It just said that a unit hit by this weapon is disrupted.
Yeah.
They have now clarified that it affects one infantry unit hit by this weapon.
Right.
They're still very good. They've got D6 attacks each. Strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage, heavy, and blast.
Yeah, so D6 plus some.
If you're shooting at my block of 20 guard, that's D6 plus 4 attacks.
And the AP 0 is not going to matter.
Per model.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are still great, especially for 50 points.
Oh, yeah.
But you can now no longer slow down your opponent's entire infantry army by splitting fire with one of these.
Dang.
You now need to stack them if you want to do that. And they're not that good, especially in our kind of meta of heavy infantry and vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, they really kill guard equivalents well, but
yeah, on a Space Marine, you're winning on 3s, but AP 0 is not going to do a whole lot.
And against a vehicle that...
Oh, yeah, that's going to be nothing.
Still used against Space Marines because slowing a Terminator squad down to 3-inch movement sucks.
That's true.
But overall, great change. You pointed out earlier that maybe part of the problem was that these guys are in the starter box.
Yeah, so they were done first. So we saw these rules.
And then they came out on their own first.
Yeah, that's true. And then they were like, wait a second, this says things wrong. Whoops.
Speaking of whoops, this is the one where don't lie to us, GW.
Yeah.
So, Wraithguard, part of the terrifying elf pie that is Aldari.
One of the terrifying things.
Right, because it's a pie. It has multiple ingredients. It's not one thing that's making them a problem. And they've been paring back their problems. We already got a nerf to their fate dice.
Yep.
You can now no longer use it more than once per phase.
Once per phase.
So you can now, and we'll get to that, you can now no longer just make everything a 6.
Yeah.
But part of what made Wraithguard so terrifying is that you've got a gun with, strength 14, 4 AP, D6, and devastating wounds.
Right.
Keep in mind that you could set that wound roll to a 6 with your fate dice.
Yeah, so just D6 mortals.
If you want D6 mortals, you'll get D6 mortals.
Yeah.
Now, their ability, War Construct, before this change, what it allowed them to do was, when selected as an attack, after the attack has been resolved, they may shoot as if it was the shooting phase.
Yep.
And their weapons gained the pistol keyword.
What in the heck were you thinking?
Now, they have now said that delete the final sentence of this ability, which is they've deleted the pistol part.
Right.
Now, because they don't have pistols on the Wraith Cannon or the D-Scythe, if you attack them in melee, they can no longer shoot you in melee.
Right.
And they are not vehicles, so they cannot shoot out of melee.
Oh, yeah, they're walkers.
Right. The problem was that previously, these guys are toughness 7.
Mm-hmm.
Even charging them with, Terminators,
yeah,
there was a really good chance that you wouldn't kill them, and then they would just put, D6 mortals into you.
Yeah, that's gross.
Right, and you couldn't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
It now means that this ranged unit is actually weak to melee and getting tied up in melee.
Imagine that.
What a thought. They're still terrifying. They're still wonderful.
Horrible.
Keep in mind they can get +1 to their ballistic skill from a Spirit Seer.
Mm-hmm.
They can be healed by a Spirit Seer. That didn't make it to this list,
mm-hmm.
but that is one thing that also changed. Spirit Seers can now only heal in their command phase.
Right.
Not every command phase.
Thank God.
Yeah. Imperial Knights.
One of the things that makes Imperial Knights terrifying is their strange ability to reroll their ones.
Yeah. So previously, they have Lay Low the Tyrant.
Yeah.
And it was unclear if it lets you roll a single hit and wound roll of 1 per attack sequence.
Yeah.
Or if it was just per every attack.
Yeah, every dice you rolled.
They've now clarified that, like most things that have this ability, it's every attack sequence. Both shoot and fight.
Yeah.
You get to reroll 1 hit roll of 1 and 1 wound roll of 1.
Yeah, again, one of the not quite the same win rate as Eldari and GSC, but one of the higher ones, and this was part of it.
This does not make them bad.
No,
they're still very good. Their code chivalric and their ability to kill the enemy warlord and get basically a 4-up Feel No Pain.
Yeah,
or 5-up Feel No Pain. Sorry.
Yeah, 5
is still really good. They're still going to be very dependent on terrain layout. This is not a serious nerf.
No. It is something, but they are still going to be very strong.
Some tournaments were already playing it this way, but not all of them were. I am glad they clarified this instead of just letting it hang.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of, these aren't clarifications. This is another one like the Wraithguard where it's, okay, you changed things.
Yeah, you straight up changed your mind. First of all, the Cult Ambush, which has been a thorn in a few people's sides from what I'm hearing, got changed for the positive and the negative. The positive is they now, quote, bring back identical units to a destroyed unit, and they are new units.
So it works the same way as the Asher Militarum one.
Yes.
Now, why is that important?
Because the Acolyte hybrids specifically have weapons that are one shot per game.
Have really good weapons that are
Very
one shot
good
per
weapons.
game. Demolition charges are fantabulous.
Yeah. And the fact that you can now put your 5-man guy up there, it's 2d6 plus 6 plus blast, and then they die, and then they come back, and they have that again.
And they do it again.
Oh.
Now, on the downside,
it might
be hard to bring them back.
Yeah. They changed the blip, the colloquial term for their Cult Ambush marker, to be you have to set up wholly within 3 inches of the blip. You can no longer put one guy next to the blip and then chain a whole bunch of guys out to capture an objective or something.
Or get closer for a charge,
Yeah.
which for GSC is the important part.
Yeah. Well, depends on the unit, but yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
So it makes returning big units difficult. It in one particular case would be the Jackals, almost impossible.
Yeah, I'm not sure
potentially.
they can all fit within 3 inches.
So the problem is they also have an ability that says they have to set up within 6 inches of a board edge.
Yeah.
Wholly within 6 inches of a board edge, and they can't do both
Yeah.
because they have to be in the circle around the blip and within 6 inches of the board edge. It's actually not possible. Everything else, you just get a tighter bunch. So we'll see if they mention the Jackals at all. The second thing to the Jackals is they changed their demolition run because they would get to do normal mortal wounds on their roll of a 4-up for each model in the unit every time they did a normal move. And the Jackal Alphas let you do a normal move after you shot.
Right.
So you would be able to move up, mortal wound, move again, mortal wound. Now it is once per round.
This is something that GW has been consistent on for across game systems.
Yeah.
They've been changing that.
Yeah.
Heck, they changed that in Age of Sigmar last edition.
Yeah, I basically didn't realize that it was the problem.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were like, oh, that just did,
Yeah.
it's not what you're supposed to do.
That makes sense.
Overall, maybe stock's a little lower on Jackals.
Yeah, I've heard some people that are kind of iffy on them as it is anyway. So we'll see what ends up happening in the events, but I like them.
Yeah, I mean, they also just look cool.
They do.
But now your hybrids have bombs for days.
Yeah.
So
I have also heard people that say that the Acolyte hybrids are basically not as good as they look on paper, but the Neophyte hybrids are fantastic. And now I feel like it's going to be more of a mix.
now that your hybrids are not just once per game on that demolition charge,
Yep.
that might skew things.
That's true.
And then last and certainly not least, this is kind of a what the heck GW moment.
Yeah, everyone was like, so this is the Transcendent C'tan. There are 3 other C'tan.
It's a very expensive kit, but it does for some reason come with a monolith you'll never use.
Yeah, so it's well,
That was a joke. He comes with a monolith kit.
it's the Obelisk. not the
Obelisk, sorry,
Monolith.
but
I was
he's
trying to-
far better than the Obelisk he comes with.
Oh, very, very good. So there's 4 total C'tan. There are the 3 shards of C'tan.
Shards of the Night Dragon, Shards of the Voidbringer, Shards of
The
Jerry
Deceiver.
Lewis. Okay.
Yep, Jerry Lewis. Shards of the Deceiver, and they were all characters. Previously, they couldn't be your warlord. You couldn't give them any enhancements or anything like that. Well, I was going to say previously the last edition, and the Transcendent C'tan was included in that. He is no longer a named character. He is not an epic hero.
He does not have the epic hero keyword.
So he can be given enhancements.
One of those enhancements is called Sempiternal Weave. It's a 4-up Feel No Pain.
For 10 points.
For 10 points. Yeah, I didn't put that in here, sorry. For 10 points, you can give a guy a 4-up Feel No Pain.
Which is fine on some little dude, but on this guy,
who already has an ability that halves all incoming damage.
Yep.
And so what was the change? They gave him reanimation protocols.
So he gets to heal every turn.
How much does he heal every turn now?
So it's D3 base. But you can make it 2D3 with the reanimator.
Right. So he's having all incoming damage, and he's probably got a 4 Feel No Pain, because there's absolutely no way you don't put that on him for 10 points.
So I can understand, because the other C'tan do have reanimation protocols. He just didn't.
Yes.
So I can understand that being a change. But the fact that they didn't give him Epic Hero is insane.
Absolutely. And he's only 280 points.
Yeah.
Honestly, we should just put 290 points there, because you're never not going to take him without a free 4 Feel No Pain.
Yeah, he's so good and then got better, so...
This guy was already basically auto-included in Necrons?
Yeah, and the competitive lists, it was... He was in most competitive lists. I'm not going to say all, but most.
Other Necron changes, there weren't a ton. The Silent King's, his little monolith things no longer explode like he does when they die.
So it was actually very funny, because the men here had explode because he did, and they could blow up and kill the other one to trigger more explodes.
Chain reaction! Anyway, this is absolutely patently ridiculous. There is no reason this guy should not have Epic Hero, as far as I'm aware in the lore. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I mean, there are multiple shards of all of them, but you should only ever be able to take one of them and not give them any enhancements.
Yeah,
this guy is no different.
Yep. And again, that's what it was last edition. You couldn't give him anything last time.
No, you know how this guy is different? He's got a far worse model.
I don't know. Have you seen the Deceiver?
Sorry, he's got a far worse model than the only good one, which is the Void Dragon.
Yeah, that's true. All the other ones pale in comparison to the Void Dragon.
Yes. And then bonus. Didn't make our top 5, but this is one I wanted to talk about because it's kind of an example of some weirdness.
Yeah.
So the Death Korps of Krieg, on the index, had a war gear ability called the Death Korps Metapack that said you got to reanimate D3 slain models during your command phase. But even on the index, didn't actually have a war gear option for a metapack.
Yep, it wasn't listed on any of the base options, and it wasn't in the
it just wasn't in the war gear option. Yeah. And then when the app came out, it was not on the war gear abilities or as a war gear option.
Yep,
leading a lot of people to think maybe it had been a mistake.
Yeah, put in there by accident.
Right, but they have now clarified that yes, you may bring a metapack. You may bring a model who can only have a lasgun. Pretty standard.
Yep.
You may only get one metapack per the entire squad.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it is 10 or 20. That answers the only question I think we actually had, which is, could you double up on metapacks by bringing 20 people?
That's fair.
Because there is some logic to maybe you could be able to do that. I think it was too strong personally.
Yeah, I agree.
But now they've said no. And you definitely can't take 10 metapacks. And things like, because some people are saying, oh, well, it doesn't say I can't bring. No, that was stupid.
Technically, it doesn't say you can bring them.
Exactly. If you're going to go with it doesn't say, the answer there is you don't get one, not I get 10.
That's so stupid.
I restored 10 D3 models.
There's only 20 guys in the
unit.
Fear
me. So that it still makes him very good.
Yeah.
And I think this is the nail in the increasing the stocks of these guys to the best Imperial Guard infantry unit.
I agree.
Because in addition to returning D3 models, they also, if they are below full strength, get +1 to hit.
Right.
Remember, that stacks with the order for +1 ballistic skill. If you're below half strength, you get +1 to wound as well.
Right.
Now, why is that good? Well, these are also the only infantry unit that can take 3 special weapons.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they have a weird thing where you can take the normal 2 special weapons, but plasma's not among them.
Oh, okay.
Because in addition, you may also take a plasma gun by giving up your Voxcaster.
Oh, okay.
So you can take a melta-gun, a grenade launcher, and a plasma gun in this unit. And that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's
that is
some pretty serious punch. So if you've got a unit of 20, you've got 2 plasmas, 2 meltas, 2 grenade launchers.
I like that.
All it takes is losing, 10 of your guys.
Sure.
And then they're all hitting on 2s, and your melta has a +1 to wound. That's pretty good against tanks.
I agree.
Yeah, I think, and they're the same cost as all the other infantry units.
Yeah, and they look cool.
The only downside is they don't get to bring they don't get to bring Creed.
Right.
Now Creed did also get a slight nerf in this change.
I think I saw that.
Her free stratagem now only works on regiment units.
Right.
Which does still affect Sentinels, by the way.
Ooh.
But no using her free stratagem to give a Lehman Russ with 3 heavy flamers Overwatch.
God, I hate when models come back from the dead.
Shut up, Mitchell, and your GSC. They also don't get the C'tan Command Squad, which is the better of the two command squads. But they do get the Death Corps Marshal, who grants them a 5-up Feel No Pain.
Yeah. They've got some tally marks in the positive section.
Yeah, and I think for Guard Infantry, whose entire goal in life is to live long enough to take objectives, being able to come back from the dead and have a Feel No Pain makes them the best Guard unit.
I agree.
Or best Guard Infantry.
If there's going to be competitive lists, I think they're going to take Guard.
Yeah.
The Death Corps, rather.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, that makes me happy. I'm glad they clarified that, because it was always you always feel a little dirty playing something when you're not 100% sure you can. Even though I was taking the conservative route of 1 med pack for D3 models.
Yeah.
But even then, you feel a little like,
Am I even allowed to take it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they clarified this. Now, that's all that's made our list. There was plenty of other things.
Oh, there's tons of changes.
There's tons of tiny little changes.
Yeah.
These were just our top 5 with honorable mention.
Yep.
Off the top of my head, you could no longer put mega armored orcs in the smaller transports.
Yep. The Primaris Dreadnoughts gained the Dreadnought keyword so that they can be transported by the flyer.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was why they got them.
So you can drop in a Ballistus.
The mobile McNugget unit.
Yeah. Sorry, a Brutalis. Drop in a Brutalis after you... delicious.
I think dropping a Ballistus wouldn't be that bad either.
It's true.
You know, get some
but the Ballistus wants to be in the back.
Yeah, or you could drop him on a... No, you can't. You can't drop him on a building, can you? Because he's a vehicle.
I don't know.
Can you drop a Ballistus on the building for plunging fire?
Can you?
Anyway, there's lots of little changes.
Yeah.
These were the ones we think were the most impactful.
Yeah, but the things that are either like blatant changes or people were just playing wrong.
Yes.
And then the Death Corps one.
A lot of other little things. Your Vrain can actually go in Corsairs, like her data sheet says.
Yeah.
What a thought.
Who'd have guessed?
But if there's one we missed that you think is super important, let us know below, and maybe we'll talk about it later. If you're going to be at Gen Con next week, I will be there. We'll be in the Game Talk Network booth. Come say hi. Mitchell, unfortunately, has to stay home and man the fort against the zombie hordes who are here to take our Death Corps models.
I mean, I'll join them.
Stay away from my Death Corps. Until next time.
Bye-bye.